24 hours, the Indian skies will see a new entrant fly in. A product of two marquee names, India's latest full-service airline is the realization of a long-standing Tata dream. The software now aviation conglomerate holds a 51% stake in the joint venture, with the initial investment being pegged at $100 million. The national capital will be the hub for the new airline, which will launch flights to Mumbai and Ahmedabad to start with. Now, interestingly, the launch coincides with the Gujarat government's massive show of strength and the Prime Minister's pet project, the Vibrant Gujarat Summit, which also happens to be held in Ahmedabad on the same dates.
Mr. J.R.D. Tata was really the true pioneer of aviation in this country. The airline that he established was nationalized and became what we know as Air India.
Both J.R.D. Tata and Ratan Tata were very much part of this dream. Attempts were made over the last 20 years, and significantly, all these attempts were with Singapore Airlines.
The 2nd of December 2013, when we moved into Taj Vivanta as our temporary office, we were put up in a room appropriately called the strategy room.
We left our family behind. We just carried 2 bags and full of documents and said, okay, we are ready for the war.
There is a great focus on the cost, very clear efficiency driven. To ensure that we provide the service excellence and the quality of service, we'll have optimum number of people.
We want to get everything to be on time.
Very rare. No technology has been leveraged.
The 5 aircraft is a good enough size by March to make a name for ourselves in the market.
We are creating a truly world-class airline, bringing together the best that both SIA and Tata have to offer.
We are not just another airline. We are Vistara, born out of 2 iconic brands. We are here for the long haul.
Ratan Tata's innings as chairman of Tata Sons may be over, but his dream of creating a world-class airline is all set to take flight with Vistara. This is Tata's 3rd attempt at aviation and the 2nd time with close associate and now joint venture partner Singapore Airlines. And the group is leaving no stone unturned to make sure the 3rd time is a charm. Vistara means limitless expanse in Sanskrit, and the team is hoping to infuse the same passion into making this airline and to ensure it successfully flies through the turbulence the Indian aviation sector is witnessing.
I think J.R.D. Tata was quite crushed when he had to part ways with Air India in the late 70s. There was a brief period when subsequent leader of Tatas, who became chairman of Tata Sons, Mr. Ratan Tata, also was chairman of Air India. But through the 90s and the 2000s, we've clearly been absent from the aviation space. And we did have a proposal to work in partnership with Singapore Airlines in the mid-90s. And almost 20 years later, finally that project, the dream of Mr. Ratan Tata, has in some ways come true.
Vistara is taking to the skies at a time when most airlines in India are struggling. The fastest route for a billionaire to become a millionaire is why investing in an airline goes a popular saying. The Indian aviation market has seen many airlines go bust due to high costs and the strategic misadventures of promoters. Jet Airways is the sole full-service carrier after Vijay Mallya's Kingfisher Airlines was grounded. In fact, Jet Airways has only recently decided to give up on its low-cost service altogether to recoup its financial health.
We like competition because at the end of the day, we like to see the benefits of a competition flowing to the customer itself. It keeps us on the toe, right? So, I wouldn't want to comment so much about the vulnerabilities and what they are doing, whether they are doing right or wrong. But, you know, I like to focus on what Vistara will be doing. Will leave behind a lasting, memorable, positive experience with the traveller.
You know, I'm sorry to labor on this issue, but everybody says that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you're right that perhaps we shouldn't focus on the competition's vulnerabilities or strengths, but perhaps we should focus on the points of differentiation as far as Vistara is concerned. Very simply, the 3 points of difference.
I just have one line.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when they travel with Vistara, they're going to feel they have received a personal and seamless experience, thoughtfully delivered. And let the passengers be the judge at the end of the day, whether we have provided the market and them with a differentiated product and service.
So while Vistara has only one direct competitor, it has formidable competition from Indigo, which has managed to gain market share at the cost of all other airlines. Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines are aware of the huge challenges involved in the business, but believe the industry is on the cusp of change.
You have two huge organizations in the Tata Group and Singapore Airlines. Clearly, both are organizations that are in it for the long term. We are not people who are going to be faced by difficulties that keep coming up. We believe that our products and services will help us to get over humps that do occur, and we will be a very responsible airline.
With the market issues that have resulted in some players exiting, we believe that in fact the market is actually maturing. There is going to be probably more discipline in terms of tariff setting. There is going to be more focus on offering the consumers what they need, as opposed to airlines really engaging in business the way they want.
It's not easy to set up a new airline in India, and to be able to accomplish all of this in just less than a year. And it's not just another airline, it's an airline that has lived up to the brand promise, the high expectations everyone has come to associate with this. And to be able to pull all of this together in such a short time, and everything built from scratch.
The true test for the team at Vistara will be to align the efficiencies of the back end with the experience at the front end. The airline says its biggest differentiator will be the seamless, personalized service, and meticulous preparation has gone into the airline's back end to achieve this.
The survey tells us that a lot of passengers feel that they've been treated just like a number. There's a loss of individuality. They just are being pushed from one end to another, A to B, and there's no personalization. Everyone is treated the same. It's like the massification of travel.
A couple of interesting things that you say. I want to ask you the learnings from your survey and the fact that you want to move away from massification to offering personalized services, making the customer feel as if he's being treated as an individual and not a number. What is that actually going to mean in terms of your service offering? It looks great, it sounds great when a CEO talks about it, but what is it going to mean for a consumer who's actually going to board a Vistara flight?
Our service philosophy will be centered around Atiti Devo Bhava. Our staff and our customer service agents, our partners, will all be trained to be preemptive, to be anticipatory to the needs of the customers. We will not be just focusing on the function itself. Yes, at the check-in, there is a process, a steps that has to go through. But there is also the service elements that has to come hand in glove with the function that one has to execute.
At the front end too, Vistara is trying to be different. The airline will operate a 148-seater Airbus A320 and is the first airline in India to offer a 3-class cabin with economy, premium economy and business class seating. The tickets are not cheap, and the airline does not seem to be competing with low-cost carriers, at least for now.
Our pricing will be value for money.
What is value for money? Please explain to me what you mean by value for money. If you fly Indigo, which is a low-cost carrier or supposedly a low-cost carrier, and if you're not booking days ahead in advance, you're probably paying about 10,500 rupees inclusive of taxes between Delhi and Bombay. Is that value for money?
If you look at the market right now, there's a lot of talk about the fares charged by the low-cost carrier and the full-service carrier. There's hardly any difference. In some cases, the low-cost carriers' airfares are more expensive. That's because there is a commoditization of the product and service. So what we are going to bring about into the India civil aviation is a slew of product and services, so much so that the passenger himself or herself feels there is value in paying for those services.
We have targeted our fares for a range of requirement. there are people who can plan early, and so we have an advance purchase, 30 days advance purchase fare. It comes with more restrictive conditions, but you get a very good deal. The fare starts going up, but it's still very, very attractive under the bucket we call Super Saver. And then it moves to a Saver category, where conditions are a bit more relaxed, and the fare starts to inch up. And then finally, there's a fully flexible basket.
For Vistara, veterans from the Tata Group as well as Singapore Airlines have come together. The airline will initially operate on busy metro routes before it starts to expand. Year 1, routes, flights, what can we expect?
We are going to have 5 aircraft by the end of the year. And based on the 5 aircraft fleet plan, we are going to operate to destinations where there's demand for full service. And it will be
I would imagine that's largely going to be the metros.
Not really.
No?
I mean, if you look hard enough, there are also non-metros that has mushroomed and grown in potential over the years. In fact, this...
Which non-metros excite you the most?
There are many. There are many.